A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, it is a period of booze, vaudeville, and merry murderesses. Some of the most unrepentantly self-serving and awful characters ever based on a true story are about to keep you solidly entertained for 2 hours with slick choreography, iconic songs, razzle-dazzle, and all that jazz. Chicago contains depictions of sex and violence, usage of drugs and alcohol, and profanity. Please proceed according to your needs and comfort level. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The views expressed therein are solely those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views of their employers. Hello there, and welcome back to 6 Degrees of Star Wars, the podcast where we explore all the ways George Lucas's flagship franchise surrounds us, binds us, and penetrates us in the landscape of cinema. I'm your host, Sam Marchioni. Joining me today, Nick Morton.
Hello, and I'm from Chicago.
Jasmine Garcia.
Welcome to In Each Retelling. Wait. Oh, God. It's been so long since I've been on the pod that I forgot that it's not mine.
And Ellie McConaughey.
We are here today to talk about Chicago, the 2002 wrong podcast. God damn it.
Oh, God, it's contagious.
Three-way. Woo! Yes, we are in a three-way crossover with In Each Retelling and the biggest night in podcasting.
Greetings, I am IER60, Star Wars Retelling Connections. Point of intersection found. This is an agreed floor, featuring Dominic West, Jairus Janik in The Phantom Menace, and Lucy Liu. Bandit leader envisions. Additional source material found. This is a retelling of the play Chicago by Maureen Dallas Watkins. Additional Oscar material found. Chicago won for Best Supporting Actress, Best Art Direction, Best Costume, Best Film Editing, Best Sound, and Best Picture at the 75th Academy Awards.
Lucy, call me. She's so hot in this movie. She's in it for 5 seconds and she's so hot.
They're all so hot in this movie. God, we
She's
are so gay.
hot. And no, this is not a rom-com. Don't even try it, Ellie. You cannot make River cover this.
I can't argue that it's a straight rom-com. I could, with a lot of twisting, get there with the Toxic Yuri.
No,
well, a lot
really
of
strong
people
in
are
this.
doing a lot of twisting in this movie.
I'm not willing to do that much twisting. I don't want to talk about it 4 times.
Damn.
God, imagine being Rob Marshall and this is the first cinematic movie you make. Like, you went from doing the choreography on the 1997 Cinderella, banger, to the 1999 Annie, banger, and then this, for me, banger.
Absolutely. What happened? Like, don't get me wrong. I am a lukewarm defender of both his Into the Woods and his Little Mermaid. But there's no contest. This is leagues above it. What the hell happened?
I am no great fan of Annie. Nothing in particular against it as like a movie or as a musical. I just find it kind of cloying.
Depends on which version.
I will say, having seen the vast majority of his filmography, yeah, this is easily his best movie. I think I'm the only person here who's seen 9, right? The musical.
No, I've seen 9. I've been in 9, which is part of why 9, the movie musical, infuriates me in places. But, 9 is probably the movie where he was most trying to recapture what he nailed down in Chicago, which is extremely frustrating.
And then there's everyone's favorite Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Things. I can't even do that. Finish that bit.
Ellie's trying this.
Jazz mentioned being a lukewarm defender of Into the Woods and The Little Mermaid. I'm probably in that camp as well. I'm also a lukewarm defender of Mary Poppins Returns. I haven't seen Memoirs of a Geisha, so I'm not going to touch that, because, oh boy, no,
Don't.
not.
It's not great.
But I think what it comes down to is that Rob Marshall does love musicals. He is a choreographer first and foremost, and in that regard, he kind of has something in common with one Mr. Kenny Ortega.
I was about to say that, yeah.
I see it.
Yeah, but, he's choreographed a ton of really cool stuff on Broadway. He's done the choreography for Victor Victoria, and he did the choreography for this, which, yeah.
Yum. Just, damn.
It takes a lot to try and match up with Bob fucking Fosse.
Mm-hmm. I also want to point out, my mother is very difficult to please, and she and I rarely agree on movies. She had an absolute blast with this, so this is Mama Garcia approved.
Yeah. It definitely also helps, I think in this regard, the screenplay, which is by Bill Condon, and Bill Condon, similarly kind of hit and miss when you take a look at his filmography. We won't go into too much detail, but this one specific movie, they were just in lockstep with each other. It is so tightly done. They really committed to the basic concept of Chicago is the musical in Roxy's mind, and they cut out some of the stuff that's in the stage show. They streamlined it down so it's only stuff we see from Roxy's perspective getting musicalized. R.I.P. to Class. At least they released it as a deleted scene. But I fucking love this movie. This is just a fucking good movie to me.
This, for me, is a movie that really takes advantage of the fact that we are on film. We can do whatever the fuck we want. We have effects. We have cutaways. We don't have to, like, move set pieces around. We have options.
They barely used any visual effects, actually. Like, the biggest thing they did, if I'm remembering correctly, was using, like, digital effects to erase the harnesses during We Both Reached for the Gun.
That's what I meant. I'm talking about, like, the marionette scene specifically, stuff like that.
Yeah, but, like, we're not talking, you know, body doubles to hide any of the dancing.
Ugh.
Catherine Zeta-Jones actually cut her hair so that nobody could argue, oh, well, it's a double doing it.
No, that was actually one of the things that kind of struck me about it, because I was thinking kind of exactly the reverse. I was watching it, I was thinking, like, a lot of these dance numbers would be perfectly at home on stage. Some of them would be more complicated to stage, but, like, my favorite scene in the entire movie is the tap dance at the very end, and that's because that is a scene that does take complete advantage of the movie. You can't actually intercut him talking with this guy with the tap dance without, like, doing something truly insane on stage. So
Richard
I don't.
Gere practiced for months to learn that.
I'm know that I'm probably going to be like, I didn't dislike the Chicago. I did actually kind of like it, but it's like not. I rated it 3 stars on Letterboxd, which I feel like is about where I'm at. I don't know what that means.
I think it means you're not the kind of theater kid what bursts into song like the other 3 of us here today are.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
Hello.
I can't fucking sing is the problem there.
Join the club.
Being able to sing is not a requirement for being a musical theater kid.
Exactly. You can just do it for the joy of it.
And honestly, if there's any musical where I can't sing is kind of a get out of jail free card, it's Chicago. If you look at the Wikipedia list of notable replacements, especially
Oh my
for
God,
Roxy
yeah.
and Billy, it is insanity.
I was telling Jazz about some of the Billy Flynns last night, and we were like, oh, what?
I was simply going to say that I honestly think that Richard Gere is my favorite part about this movie. He has 2 of my favorite songs.
No, he's great in it.
I'm shocked you didn't go harder for John C. Reilly. I thought you were quite a fan of John C. Reilly.
I love John C. Reilly. I think that he's...
famous.
I love... John C. Reilly is on that list of actors where I don't love everything he's in. Obviously, he's been in a lot of dog shit, but whenever he shows up, I'm like, hey, it's John C. Reilly! Yeah!
You know he's
yeah.
not going to half-ass it. You know he's probably going to be lovable and put upon and bumbling.
Right, that was sort of where I wound up at, like, yeah, this is kind of very generic use of your John C. Reilly. I was kind of, like, waiting for a twist with him where he was more than he appeared at first, and it just never came.
I mean, isn't this pretty early on in John C. Reilly's fame, too? So it was kind of before his type really solidified. It would arguably, this was like the birth of that particular type of character for him.
And even then, there's some really cool touches. Like, he's a big clown enthusiast. He insisted on designing and doing his own clown makeup. And I'm like, good for you. Cutie patootie.
I mean, this was post Thin Red Line, post Boogie Nights, post Magnolia, which this is the same year as Gangs of New York and The Hours. I think that
Ellie, I love you, but I think this is probably a lot more famous than all of those.
yeah. Fuck me.
Magnolia, maybe not because Tom Cruise, but that's a whole other conversation for a whole other
Oh,
day.
please. Nobody thinks of Magnolia first when they think of Tom Cruise.
I said
sorry.
maybe. I did say maybe.
My point was just that he'd been acting for a while at this point.
That's why I said his fame, because obviously, yeah, he has a long storied career. But
I feel
think
like
early aughts was really when he really was put on the map.
Mm-hmm. He didn't really get to be John C. Reilly, the name, until probably Step Brothers, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a John C. Reilly scholar.
No, I would say Step Brothers, or like one of the joints he did with Will Ferrell.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish he would sing more. I liked his voice. I liked his voice a lot.
Sam, have you seen Walk Hard?
He's released albums. He's a very good singer.
He was great.
I have not seen Walk Hard. I do remember at one point I put on Spotify, and I think it's him and Woody Harrelson from some kind of like Western pastiche, and they're telling like shitty dad jokes with a chorus that goes, "Bad jokes, Lord, I love 'em. Bad jokes, can't get enough of 'em." But I can't remember what the fuck that's from.
Hey, Dusty. Yeah, Lefty. Did you know that diarrhea was hereditary? No, I didn't. Yeah, it runs in your genes.
I found it. It is a 2006 movie called A Prairie Home Companion. It was Robert Altman's final movie before he passed away, and it is a degree 4 thanks to Woody Harrelson. So maybe we'll cover it someday.
All of you should, in fact, see Walk Hard. It is extremely good. If only because
on my list.
If only because you want to see Jack Black as John Lennon.
I was looking last night, like, the reason I was looking at the Billy Flynn replacement list is because one of them, I shit you not, was Jerry fucking Springer. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
He probably didn't have to work too hard acting-wise.
You know?
For the audience who may get a kick out of this, some of the other Broadway replacements for Billy Flynn include Billy Ray Cyrus, Billy Zane, Louis Gossett Jr., Cuba Gooding Jr., and fucking Usher.
Usher makes a weird amount of sense to me.
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr.? Fascinating.
Some of them do make sense. Like, you see, oh, Coleman Domingo played this? Absolutely.
Tay Diggs, who was in this movie, then went on to play Billy Flynn on Broadway.
Yeah. Billy Flynn is a really good role to slot in because it's not necessarily a dance heavy, and you can kind of get away with speak singing. Not to the level that you could with, like, Henry Higgins, but it's not a huge stretch vocally.
Anyway, we've talked a whole lot about the men, but this is not a movie about the men.
Well, if I start talking about Catherine Zeta-Jones, I will never stop.
That is fair.
Have a nice day.
Will she forever get some side-eye from me for the amount of Latino face she does? Like, yes.
Yeah.
Catherine?
Stop.
Catherine, you need to stop doing this. Stop it.
Please.
Stop it. I know Cheetah Rivera originated this role, and Cheetah Rivera is in this movie, and I love Cheetah Rivera. And also, if I had a nickel for every time an actress won an Oscar in a role originated by Cheetah Rivera, I'd have 3 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. 3 times.
Thrice.
It happened thrice.
Also, you know who else turns out was in the ensemble of this? Sarah Ramirez.
Fuck yeah!
I'm pretty sure this was pre-Spam-A-Lot, let alone pre-Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. We
fucking
love Sarah Ramirez. In this house.
And it's just, Catherine Zeta-Jones runs away with this movie in so many fucking ways.
Easily.
She was actually offered Roxy, and while I do want to go into that multiverse, it's really funny to know she's like, I want to do the role that sings all that jazz. And they're like, that's Velma. And she's like, I'm doing Velma. And goddamn, she did Velma. Fucking lead of the movie. I don't care what the Oscars and the other fucking awards said. She's the lead.
How many sapphics were born off of this performance is what I want to know.
Yes.
So many.
I was going to say, if we're talking about the women, another actress who is in the list of, like, don't love everything they're in. In fact, I think I only like 1 in 10 things that she's in. But, like, anytime I see Queen Latifah, I'm like, hey!
No, seriously, and
It's Queen Latifah!
Also very hot in this movie.
Oh, God, that dress when she's doing When You're Good to Mama. Oh, Colleen Atwood. Mwah!
My mother even said, "Oh my God, her tits are like bowling balls," and it's like, yes.
You know, I'm just gonna walk away from that one.
Another thing I give Rob Marshall credit for is that maybe it's because he's gay, but he knows how to make a woman sexy without feeling like the camera's leering at her.
Yeah, most certainly. Like, this, it's so crazy because, yeah, like, pretty much every woman in this movie is extremely hot and portrayed as such, but it never feels like they're being objectified, and I really do admire that about this movie. Like, it feels like everyone does, in fact, have agency.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like any of them actually did anything wrong.
This is arguably the biggest women's wrongs movie of all time.
God forbid women do anything.
I very much support women's wrong, but two things. Look, we know this about me. I love me some evil women. One, Roxy, you suck. You suck. You gotta be more fun evil if you're gonna be evil. You gotta just stop sucking. Two.
With that said, I will actually give her. No, that guy definitely had it coming.
Dude had it coming, but he's like, oh, that's sort of my second point. Look, I know that Cell Block Tango is extremely famous. It is famous for a reason. Bernie did not have it coming. Like.
No,
I'm sorry. I support women's wrongs. You gotta get thicker skin than that.
No, I think like she legit had misophonia.
No, clearly she must have, but
It could have also just been that straw that broke the camel's back.
Also, he was deliberately provoking her by the sound of it.
Yeah.
Like, she says, you pop that gum one more time. She's indicated she's frustrated. And what does he fucking do? Pops the gum, and she pops the gun.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there are a lot of reactions that I feel like would be extremely justified in that situation. None of them involve a shotgun. Like, you have escalated from a 4 to a 12.
I mean, we do have to take into account that in the 1920s, there's no option to easily divorce.
Yeah.
least of all for the ladies. In lighter news, so this is where I confess, in spite of the fact that I'm like one of the biggest theater kids of our group, this was my first time watching Chicago. However, did I ever know the shit out of Cell Block Tango? From many of a fan edit, yes, I would say one of Ellie. I'm sitting right next to Sam.
I could probably do an entire one-person Cell Block Tango at the drop of a hat.
I mean, same. Partially because of that, and also, like, there's so many parodies of it out there, including, most recently, the Elspeth Season 2 finale did a parody of it. It's this detective show that my folks like a lot. And, yeah, no, even within the context of the full, very awesome movie in my book, yeah, this song is amazing. And there's a reason why we kind of do tend to meme about terrible men and or terrible male characters to this. It's because... would we call this feminine rage number? I think we should.
100%. And just the delivery on pretty much all of them is perfect. The editing is perfect. The sharp sound of the snare drums every time that one cut to, like...
You know, some guys just can't hold their arsenic.
And he ran into my knife. He ran into my knife 10 times. Also, where's that one kid doing the Modern Major General rap?
We can't all be the Jimmy Awards.
I do wish they'd stop saying squish. It's not a good word. I don't enjoy that word.
I mean, that's fair.
It's supposed to make you uncomfortable.
Also true.
Yeah.
And Deirdre Goodwin is making a meal out of it, like stretching out.
Squish.
God.
I feel like I just made Ellie even more uncomfortable.
True.
So I found a translation of what Hanyik is saying in her Hungarian part.
Yes, apparently Hungarian isn't very good.
That Hungarian is bad.
I didn't say it was good. I just said I found a translation on Broadway Box, sorry. I didn't say it was good Hungarian. I don't speak Hungarian.
The actual actress is Russian, and I recall, I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago when I was working on the decommission of the previous building I was working at, we had an employee who would call one of our other people on the staff Russian. And we had to tell him, like, you need to knock that the fuck off. He's Azerbaijani, and they do not appreciate that conflation. So, maybe hire an actual Romanian. It's not like she's in the movie much.
Number one, Hungarian.
Hungarian is what I meant. I'm tired. Leave me alone.
Number two, like, Hunyak isn't even her name. It's slang that I think might be a slur for a Hungarian woman.
Oh, no.
I'm not 100% sure, but...
Oh no.
God, dehumanizing.
I mean, that's her whole story, unfortunately.
Glad I called her Hungarian woman in our chat.
She is apparently mostly a ballerina, the actress.
You can see it in
Like,
the choreography.
she's the one woman who has unequivocally not done a single thing wrong. And she's the only one punished for it.
Ain't that the way?
It's heartbreaking.
I don't know. I feel like Velma gets spiritually punished, if not legally.
I guess.
She still gets to be famous.
Until Roxy plugs her. Or she plugs Roxy.
Yeah, I consider the end of that movie to be kind of a Faustian bargain for both of them. They have escaped jail, but look where they are both going to be working with someone they detest, and also looking over their shoulder their entire life because they know the person they're working with is at least capable of murder.
They don't really play it that way by the end, but you're not wrong. There's not really a sense of dread by the end.
Yeah, that was something I noticed. So the final dance number is called the Hot Honey Rag. And I've seen Anne Reinking's version of Bob Fosse's choreography, but if you look on YouTube, there is some very grainy, rehearsal video of Cheetah Rivera and Liza Minnelli doing it while Liza was stepping in for Gwen Verdon. The Hot Honey Rag is extremely interesting in that they are not perfectly in sync. There is some very interesting choreography where, Roxy does a step and then Velma does the step, a count later or so, or, the opposite. There's this sense that they're not lockstep with each other, but there are moments when they are, and so it's kind of interesting to see that last bit of push and pull between the two of them. And you also can often see Roxy is not as controlled as Velma is. She's not as well adjusted to this kind of performing, and Fosse's choreography is all about specificity. Bob Fosse would get into the details of just where every single one of your fingers is at any given moment. That is how specific Fosse could get. And while you can kind of see that in the difference between Catherine Zeta-Jones and Renee Zellweger in terms of Catherine Zeta-Jones being way more locked in, she has way tighter control of her limbs. They are in perfect sync, and it's very celebratory and unironic.
So when I say this, I don't want to sound like I'm being mean. Both of these women are much better dancers than I could be if I practiced the rest of my life. But I can tell when an editor is cutting in such a way to avoid bad dancing, and I can see it at points in this movie. That is all I'm going to say. Renee Zellweger, do not come for my head. You are still a better dancer than me.
Why specifically Renee Zellweger?
There were also points in this movie when Catherine Zeta-Jones was pregnant.
Yeah, I didn't know that for a fact, but I'm they're cutting around something over there. It's that one section of the X-Files season 2 where for some reason they're only shooting Scully from the chest up. Where that is.
Why are we hiding this woman behind a suitcase for half a season?
I just love this suitcase.
This purse is just so beautiful. I need to hold it. It's my comfort purse.
What's with the giant jackets?
No, more TV shows need to do what the X-Files did. Shoot her from the chest up for 3 episodes, then have her get abducted by aliens so she can be off screen for 2 episodes to give birth.
Or send her off to jury duty or something. I don't fucking know.
That is a solution that will work for every TV show. I am not taking questions at this time.
Of course not.
Anyway, Renee Zellweger.
I think you're too mean to her, Sam. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. She does good for what the material is asking for.
I don't deny it is a good performance for this character. And in that regard, there are a lot of ways in which Renee is perfect casting for this. Here's the problem. This was my first, proper introduction to Renee Zellweger. I had seen, or rather heard her voice in a little movie called Shark Tale, but I hadn't really seen her in a lot of other stuff. I didn't watch Bridget Jones or anything like that. I didn't really know who Renee Zellweger was. And so to be introduced to someone playing just such an unpleasant person, such a selfish, vindictive, rude, ungrateful little brat, that could absolutely poison the well, and I feel like it did. I remember specifically having this issue of I felt she had a perpetual lemon face. It seems before every take she'd been sucking on a lemon.
Which is in keeping with the character, but I get it, especially if you see this young. I could see how that might happen.
Crazy that she also went on to play Judy Garland.
I'm going to stop Sam's rage for a moment. This is also my first time through this one, which means I think that my most recent Best Picture winner I haven't seen is now The Last Emperor. Almost like I'm an Oscar nerd or something. And I'm just going to show my hand right here. I can't think of too many movies that Renee Zellweger has been that I like very much. I didn't really like Bridget Jones' Diary. I think that she is well cast here and she is playing the role well, but I also think that being a complete piece of shit who is also entertaining and engaging to watch is a real thin blade to walk on. It's going to vary a lot from person to person. She fell off it a lot for me. There are scenes, especially in the courtroom scenes, where she is managing it. And I also, again, I really like the press conference scene, that whole song. Very good. But I think she works best when she has someone who is equally detestable to, like, play off her, because then she's not so bad. She's just at the volume of the room.
Yeah, because, like, when she's with, John C. Reilly, it's like, oh, you are really, ooh.
Yeah, again, Amos is really the only arguably good person in this movie, and you feel very bad for him.
Hungarian woman.
Oh yes, her too, of course.
Catalan.
We don't get to know her as well as we get to know Amos, unfortunately, which is of course part of her tragedy.
She is our woman in the refrigerator.
Very much so.
She basically exists to raise the stakes at the midpoint, or to remind us of the stakes. I do find it extremely funny that she fires Billy and then hires him back after one scene.
Well, I mean, that one scene was watching a woman get hanged. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. That's what's at stake for me. Hey, Billy!
I'm not going to say that that's necessarily bad from a filmmaking perspective. Another thing that I can genuinely tell is, like, I watch this, I get to the end, I'm like, okay, they cut like 45 minutes to an hour out of the stage show, didn't they? And then I go and Google and lo and behold, I'm right.
Yep.
But in fairness, like, this was already a nearly 2-hour movie. Like, I could see why they did that. I think it works perfectly fine as it is as an adaptation from a filmic standpoint where we do not get an intermission.
We can't all be wicked and wicked for good.
Exactly.
Correct.
So, like, the era that this movie came out in is in, like, that kind of weird middle spot where the shift has already started happening, but a lot of movies are coming out pre-shift. This was around the time when film runtimes really started to kick up towards 3 hours regularly, mostly because of Lord of the Rings. There's just no way around it. It's just Lord of the Rings. And so, like, this movie is obviously started was in production before the first Lord of the Rings hit, and it was still like a maybe it'll work, maybe it won't kind of thing. So I think that if this movie had come out like 3 years later, it probably would have been 2.5 hours. I don't think that would have made it a better movie necessarily. It is reasonably tightly paced.
I do feel like this is like one of those movies that every other movie musical after it got compared to, whether fairly or not, because this was really one of the last ones that pretty much all the theater kids could agree with, I feel like, up until, like, Charlotte and I talked about this on my last Wicked episode, but probably In the Heights was one of the, like, the first time since Chicago that there was a movie musical that pretty much all the theater kids agreed on.
And, like, even then, not nearly enough people went to go see In the Heights. But, like, for context, if we look at the Wikipedia page for musicals in 2002, besides Chicago, the majority of them are animated, and several of them are direct-to-video Disney sequels.
I didn't like In the Heights, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
But, like, looking at what comes after it, we're definitely in, like, that post 9/11 of, are musicals really, like, what people want? And we start, I think, really getting that pivot into the biopic jukebox musicals.
I mean, you can see that the post 9/11 shift of what movies, especially what Oscar-winning movies, look like in this year's Oscar. You know, the other major winners that year were The Pianist, The Hours, Adaptation, Talk to Her. These are movies that are a lot grimmer, a lot darker, a lot more realistic. The best original song went to 8 Mile, which previous episode of my pod. Yeah, go listen to it. I'm not going to go into 8 Mile right now.
Yeah, I don't think it was until, like, 2007 that we started getting, like, proper live action movie musicals that people actually liked, because that was 2007 was the year of Enchanted and Hairspray and Once and Sweeney Todd, which we will talk about Sweeney Todd someday.
You know what, you're right, I should have included Hairspray in that.
Yeah, the cinematic relationship to musicals is so weird and so fascinating to watch. Because I don't know. Part of me wonders if it's going to be until 2030 that we have another musical that people actually want to engage with publicly.
I'd hate that.
I know.
Horror thought.
I didn't say I was happy about it. It's just an observation based on the trends that I have noticed.
If you go over the Best Picture winning films from like the 50s and 60s and 70s, musicals are all over them. This is the most recent.
Hang on. Sorry, Ellie. I think I might have accidentally stumbled on a pattern.
Uh-oh.
So 2002 we have Chicago. 2007 we have what I mentioned with, Hairspray and Enchanted and Once and stuff. Then another 5 years after that, 2012, Les Mis. And then 2017, fucking La La Land wins at the Oscars, and also, 2017 is the year of Beauty and the Beast, which, plenty to say about that, but it makes a lot of money.
La La Land did not win Best Picture, though, famously.
I know.
Very famously.
And, in that same, stretch of time, 2021 to 2022, we're seeing, Dear Evan Hansen, and In the Heights, and Tick Tick Boom, and West Side Story, and those all get some positive attention. Oh, God.
Look, you don't have to like it, but The Greatest Showman did gross $500 million.
It did.
Yeah.
Would we have gotten both of the Wicked movies if The Greatest Showman hadn't done well? Probably not.
I have horrifying news for everybody that I found out from an interview with a La La Land choreographer. It's coming to Broadway.
Of course it is.
At least the singing will probably be more consistent.
Please let somebody actually decently talented write the libretto.
They shut down an LA highway for 2 days for that.
My hope is that
we're not here to talk about La La Land.
My hope is that they manage to remember that they need to have songs in the second act. If they bring it to Broadway, I'm done.
What do I have to do to get a Star Wars musical? What do I have to do to get a Star Wars musical that is not the holiday special?
Or the Star Kids.
You gotta get the Steve Rogers, the musical from that Hawkeye TV show, to actually get produced and be a big hit, and then Disney will start really reinvesting.
Oh, don't get me started on my dramaturgical rants about that shit.
You guys do know it's at the theme parks, right?
I'm saying you gotta
it makes me mad.
You gotta get that shit on Broadway, and you gotta get people to go see it, so that Disney will stop being gun shy about putting stuff like superheroes or Star Wars onto stage shows, because they're still gun shy about after Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark.
I want a Star Wars movie musical. I want a movie musical in space!
Okay, well, for that, you need to go and you need to get some incriminating evidence on Bob Iger, and you need to start cutting letters out of a magazine and mail it.
For legal reasons, NSA, this is a joke.
In Minecraft, obviously.
I'm starting to understand the motivations of the women in Chicago a whole lot more. For legal reasons, this is a joke.
Uh-oh, Sam's about to come murder me.
In space!
Which I can't even say that I don't deserve. I had it coming. I had only myself to blame.
God. Is this one of those movies where it's just there's just so much good that it's actually hard to talk about? Is that what's happening here?
I think it might be, because, I think we've tapped into a big part of why it just works is because it's really well cast, and the whole movie in the mind concept is just so impeccably finessed. As much as the Cell Block Tango gets all the attention, the Cell Block Tango was not what was getting memed for a good solid summer.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, they both. But also, I gotta say, it is worth noting, this is not technically the first time a film adaptation of a musical kind of went the route of the musical numbers aren't technically real, quote unquote, in the narrative. Cabaret did a very similar thing, and I'm sure that was an intentional, parallel there.
I mean, Cabaret did sort of the opposite, and, it is a lot of the same territory. It is a Candor and Ebb musical. Shout out to John Candor for an Obi. Woo! It is set in, the first half of the 20th century. It's, if not directed by Bob Fosse, heavily influenced by Fosse, and it's about a woman in a morally ambiguous situation in a pretty shitty time. Fuck the Nazis.
Fuck the Nazis.
Fuck the Nazis.
You said it already, like I've never seen either Chicago or Cabaret on stage, but on film, except for the opening and closing numbers, all of the numbers in Chicago take place in Roxy's head, whereas in Cabaret, the film, all of the numbers take place on the actual Cabaret stage. There's no
they're
metaphor.
all diegetic.
They're all diegetic, precisely. So I don't know if that's the case in the stage show for either of them, but it's interesting that they took these two musicals that are hypothetically so similar and made them so different. I would also say that because of the in her head angle, this is how Roxy sees the world. It ends up in this spot where Chicago is way more stylized and over the top and intense, whereas Cabaret is extremely dark and down to earth and gritty and just a huge downer.
Gee, a musical about the rise of fascism and abortions and shit is a bummer? Who would have guessed?
Who would have guessed? That's not a complaint. I love Cabaret.
Oh yeah, Cabaret's great.
If anybody who is listening has not seen Cabaret, I believe the Sam Mendes revivals, or one of the Sam Mendes revivals with Alan Cumming as the MC, is up on YouTube in full. And also, if you poke around on YouTube, you can find a very short clip of Natalie Portman at the Stage Door Manor summer camp performing Don't Tell Mama from Cabaret.
Oh.
Yeah, it is, interesting to think about in the context of Ms. Portman's general career trajectory and certain images she had to counteract over the years.
Yeah. I hope that was cathartic for her then.
As do I.
Yeah, it is different when it's a bunch of children all performing Cabaret or Chicago.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's interesting when high schoolers do Chicago. That sure is a thing that happens.
I mean, my first time seeing Cabaret was a high school production, and it was actually phenomenal. The Sally Bowles was only 14, and she killed it.
What makes Chicago especially, I think, good for high schools is that it's a very girl-heavy show.
True.
You can arguably get away with having only 3 guys in Chicago. Because
this is not Newsies. You don't need 50 guys and 2 girls.
Yeah, because in the stage version of Chicago, Mary Sunshine is a drag role, which you can go into the logistics of man in dress and when it's offensive and when it's trying to make a commentary about the performativity of gender and shit like that. Honestly, the funniest thing to me is that when the summer theater where I normally did summer theater did Chicago, the person who played Mary Sunshine turned out to be trans, so maybe that cracked her egg.
Oh, good for her.
Aww.
She won.
Indeed.
But it also apparently Baranski decided she was going to play Mary Sunshine as a lesbian to help make up for it.
Yeah.
I love that.
I was kind of debating if I wanted her to get her together with Mama Morton, but I couldn't tell if I was just picking up on the reality subtext there or not.
Yeah, no, there's no heterosexual explanation for Mama Morton, I'm sorry.
And honestly, that actually seems like a very profitable partnership when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Mama gives access to Mary Sunshine. Mary Sunshine gives Mama a little something something.
When you're good to Mama, Mama's good to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to make that joke. We have standards for jokes here that I'm allowed to
No,
make.
we don't.
When did we get standards?
I have standards sometimes.
But no, God, Queen Latifah's never been hotter than in this movie.
Her wife is a very lucky woman. The point I was going to drive at is I get to do this every so often. As a trans woman, I'm perfectly happy with you playing Mary Sunshine just with a cis woman. There are roles that need to be done drag. I really don't feel like that's one. That's not a complicated or interesting character. She's there to be sensationalist, manipulated by, well, not even manipulated by Billy, using Billy and being used in turn, reporter.
Complicit.
Mutual parasites.
You can just go back to, the musical is originally from the 70s when the general public was not talking much about trans people in general, and it was still very much on the cultural fringes of things. And also Chicago was the big edgy musical that ended up beefing hard with a chorus line. But
one singular sensation, every little step she takes.
He was so mad about that. So mad.
Listen, I hate pitting 2 queens against each other. That's all I'm gonna say.
So, God,
This is
really,
Go
it's
ahead.
hard.
It's not a movie with a lot of subtext.
It's in your face.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say there's a lot of subtext. There is a whole lot of satirizing, and it's worth noting that, yes, this is a musical from the 70s. It flopped in the 70s, and it was really only when it was revived in the wake of more in-public celebrity murders, such as O.J. Simpson, for example. It was really only then that it really caught on, because I guess in the 70s, in spite of the fact that it was riddled with serial killers, the whole idea of this killers being
Glamorous women.
yeah, not really glamorous anything, being glamorized, being almost worshipped by the media was just a little too out there for 1970s audiences, apparently. Boy, wait till they find out about the serial killer fangirls besides Bundy, I guess.
That's so interesting to me because like one of the most interesting tabloid stories from the 70s, and I use that word specifically, is an incident where a woman followed her Mormon ex-boyfriend to London when he was on mission, and she said he went with her willingly. He said that she kidnapped him at gunpoint and sexually assaulted him. And it was like a years-long tabloid media frenzy around the whole thing. She basically parlayed it into enduring fame to this day. There's an extremely good Errol Morris documentary called Tabloid about it. Cannot recommend it highly enough. So I feel like, honestly, sincerely, like, you know, having spent a lot of this year watching movies from the 70s for my own podcast, notably a movie that feels like it could be, if they came out close to each other in conversation with this movie, Network. I don't know, like, it feels like the satire of the way the media portrays awful people. It could be a lot more cutting than it is in the movie form. But you're right, by the time we rolled into 2002, after Serial Killer Fangirls now in 2025, but also after the O.J. Simpson case, it's just kind of like, yeah, we sure do that. We're gonna stop doing it anytime soon.
Not to mention the 24 hours news cycle was starting to really kick in.
Yeah, especially in 02, post 9/11, yeah.
Honestly, the entire media landscape today just basically runs on razzle-dazzle as the philosophy.
Yeah. What I find interesting is that the reason I was doing some reading about Chicago, and the reason that Chicago hasn't shut down is there's a couple of reasons. One, nobody wants the theater. It's got the worst backstage space of any theater on Broadway because of how narrow it is back there. And so if they were to Chicago was to actually leave that theater, they would have to like renovate the whole thing. It would be a thing. Two, it is so cheap to run because of how bare the set is that they're always above budget anyway because their production costs are so minimal because of costumes and sets and whatnot being so bare bones on Broadway. And so nobody wants the theater. It's cheap to run, and that's why it's been running since 1996.
Yeah, and it's also like a great way for whatever celebrity wants to prove that they are an artiste. Like
Jerry Springer.
We already shat on the Billy Flynns of it all, but
you can lowball it by playing Roxy, because no one's really expecting Roxy to be great, even though I will maintain Renee does a great job with this, actually. Like, obviously she's no Catherine Zeta-Jones, but who is Catherine Zeta-Jones besides Catherine Zeta-Jones?
But like, Roxy is someone that you can get Pamela Anderson to play. She is someone that you can get Christy Brinkley to play, or Rita Wilson.
Ashley Simpson, I know, was a recent one.
Yeah. Or Alyssa Milano.
Pamela Anderson could come with some absolutely fascinating reality subtext, purely in the nature of what sort of drove her out of the limelight, but I don't know if she's actually talented enough to play on that. No offense to you, Miss Anderson, if you're listening for whatever reason. You seem like a very nice person, just not an exceptionally talented actress.
Yeah, but like, you can see it. Roxy is generally designed to be the less dance-heavy role, which is ironic and frustrating when you know the whole backstory of, like, Gwen Verdon basically engineered the creation of Chicago because she wanted another star vehicle. And Gwen Verdon, phenomenal dancer, but she was getting up there when Chicago was happening, and they kept shrinking down her dance contributions to account for that, which pissed her off, especially when she had to leave Chicago to do some throat surgery stuff, and Liza Minnelli came in and they changed the choreography back to what they had originally wanted it to be because Liza could do it. It's dramatized in Fosse Verdon, which is excellent. really good.
I shall add it to
Michelle
my
Williams
list.
won an Emmy for it, and also she's just really good.
Michelle
I
Williams.
just found the lore of why Chicago hasn't closed fascinating because people are always asking, like, why is this still going? Like, I don't have any surprises.
It will absolutely, I believe, run at the very least until it has beat Phantom of the Opera's record.
Very
Probably,
possible.
because again, it's cheap and nobody wants the theater because of the backstage space.
And it's still a moneymaker, so it's like, because it's still an awesome show.
And like, it's one of those shows that your parents recognize, your old folks recognize. They're like, oh, Chicago. Can we go see Chicago?
What the fuck was that voice,
Yeah.
Nick?
Okay, Chicago, you've got 2,524 performances left before you beat Phantom.
I believe in them.
How long is that? Like, if you do 8 performances a week?
So, for context, Phantom of the Opera closed with 13,981 performances. Chicago is currently at 11,457.
So, probably like a couple of years.
At 8 shows a week, 52 weeks a year, that's about 400 performances a year.
Yeah,
5
so
years.
that's gonna be about 5 years.
5
yeah.
or 6.
Oh, yeah, it'll easily beat Phantom. That's crazy.
And, I could definitely see an argument that the movie helped keep Chicago going, because,
Oh, easily.
part of what can make Chicago an easy tourist show is if there is a very well-received movie that gives you the basic outline of the story, and then, hey, you also get some news songs about how a murderer and a super corrupt prison warden can be singing about how nobody has no class anymore. Nobody says please or thank you.
Whatever happened to old value and fine morals and good breeding?
It's so funny. And plus, you get those big names in there, like, Pamela Anderson or Jerry. God, I still can't get over Jerry fucking Springer. I'm sorry, I can't get past that one. That is insane to me. You get those big names in there. People are like, your old lady is like, can we go see this name that I recognize?
An unfortunate mechanic of the economics of Broadway mean that the reason they keep making X the musical, X usually 90% of the time being a movie that people have heard of, Tootsie or Some Like It Hot or whatever, what the fuck ever, Kinky Boots, whatever. I've not seen any of these. Some of them might be good, I don't care.
Can you name an example that does not involve drag in some way?
Evil Dead.
Mean Girls.
Ugh.
Evil Dead. We're talking Evil Dead the musical. Silence the musical.
That's the monkey's paw curling in back on me. I set myself up for that.
Heathers.
Beetlejuice is because they... If you're a tourist in New York, and as I've discovered a lot of tourists in New York do, you don't really plan what musical you're going to see. You just have a free afternoon. It's like, what if we went to go see a musical? You're just going to go for a name that sounds vaguely familiar, which means it has to be one of the long runners or it has to be a movie.
Could not fucking be me.
It could not be me.
That is how weird, out there musicals don't usually do very well. Obviously, there are exceptions. I know Book of Mormon and Hamilton do very well.
Book of Mormon had the South Park name attached to it. I think that's more of an exception because of the creators.
If you are the Thompsons from Southern Iowa, the South Park guys are not names that you necessarily know, except for your annoying teenage son. I don't know why I went with the Thompsons there. My point, I guess, is that, Chicago is always going to do well because the movie was extremely popular. Even I was very surprised by how well it did at the box office compared to its budget. And yeah, it's just a name that people know. People know the name Chicago the Musical. They want to go see a musical they know. Extremely excited to see how the Cats production that has them all as an explicit drag ball does, now that it's on Broadway proper.
Oh, that's ended already. It did fairly well, but it was never.
No, it hasn't opened on
Broadway
Broadway yet, darling.
It had an off-Broadway run, and it was popular enough that it is now coming to Broadway. And Andre DeShields is going to be old Deuteronomy, and that is so fucking cool.
I hope it does well. I really do, because that's such a cool concept.
I saw the off-Broadway run. It is quite good, especially by the admittedly low standards of Cats, but I will also acknowledge solid 20% of what I liked about it is inside baseball jokes about New York City.
They did a Cats here that was Rodeo Fort Worth Stockyards themed, okay? There are pictures of the set. It's fucking weird. Like, I was gonna go, but I couldn't get tickets in time. I was like, I almost just need to see this because what in the actual fuck?
God.
Let's talk about some of the courtroom shenanigans. one thing we haven't really touched upon is the fact that one of Roxy and Billy's angles is using a fake pregnancy to save her ass.
Let's be clear, it was Roxy's angle. Billy just had to fucking run with it.
That is true. Now, and listen, for all of our complaints about Roxy, we can't say she's as stupid as she looks.
Uninformed, perhaps.
She's short-sighted is the actual problem.
Somehow she made it, I think she made, like, intelligence and wisdom her dump stats, but every so often she gets a nat 20.
The moment where she, for reasons that, in my opinion, make absolutely no sense, elects to burn the bridge with Velma for no gain, that's what I'm talking about. That was just being short-sighted. That having been said, I do like how quickly Billy just basically goes, well, being a corrupt lawyer is already so goddamn weird, this might as well happen. Let's go.
Yeah. And also, wow, it's so interesting how in the 1920s, the unborn baby was enough to be more, they used the fact that people will be more concerned about the unborn baby than the actual person to their advantage, huh?
Part of it was just, I think Roxy tried to think of the first thing that would get her attention after Lucy Liu comes into the movie for her one fucking minute of like, yeah, this pineapple heiress plugged her lover and his two side pieces.
And she was in her underwear when they arrested her.
And then she kicked a reporter in the balls.
This movie, the episode of The X-Files called Hell Money, Lucy Liu having 1 minute of screen time.
And what a minute of screen time it is.
I love her so much, Your Honor.
What a stacked ass cast they have here. And again, this is definitely one of those movies that launched 1,000 sapphics.
Your Honor, it's Lucy Liu. She's innocent by default.
If you're Lucy Liu, you're allowed to just do that. It's fine.
Also, like, hey, idiots on the internet who complain about shit being woke. I don't see you complaining about Lucy Liu and Queen Latifah in this movie.
It's almost like that's a manufactured phenomenon that just wasn't on people's minds in the aughts.
What? No.
Let's be 100emoji.gov with each other. Those people don't watch movies outside of Marvel and Star Wars, and honestly, I have a lot of doubts about whether or not they watch those.
They were also mad at Lucy Liu in Elementary, to be clear, so unfortunately I have to refute that, Ellie.
Fuck those dumbasses.
They don't have to watch it, they just have to be outraged by it.
Well, that's lame. It's even lamer than I thought.
In fairness, this was mostly people who were fans of the BBC Sherlock, but still.
Which is a bad Sherlock.
I was going to say, extremely rude joke about the BBC Sherlock show omitted.
Don't come for me, cumber bitches.
No, you'll probably have to come for me eventually.
Say, like, come for me. I have no sympathy for you. I got halfway through the first episode. This is the worst shit I've ever seen in my life.
Please, come to my house. Run into my knife 10 times.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Anyway, woo!
We're all insane.
Yeah.
Well, of course we are. We're all friends.
Aww.
I love you guys too.
I'm shocked that Legal Eagle has not made a video about this. I mean, like, I know he's kind of phased out doing those things, but also, like...
He just did Die Hard. All the laws broken in Die Hard.
The central issue with doing a legal analysis of something like Chicago is, well, you're not allowed to just sing in court. Like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here asking a movie to be... Also, it's
Legal Eagle goes more practically in depth. Like, he would be talking about, hey, Billy Flynn, do not approach the jury. The bailiff will tackle you. He'd be talking about, hey, you can't introduce evidence like that because there's supposed to be a period of discovery. There has to be a warrant. And Billy Flynn brings up those points. Billy Flynn is a good lawyer. He breaks a lot of rules, but he is a good lawyer.
But the prosecutor breaks a lot of rules too, so it's fine.
Yeah, to be fair, the prosecutor does just sort of invent evidence he knows is phony, purely to try to win the case. So, you know,
yeah, what did he think was going to happen?
Nothing good.
He thought he was actually going to be able to convict her, and that would make him the governor.
He wanted to go to the governor's mansion!
Look, it has never happened that the police have attempted to railroad a guilty but well-connected person threw on a murder charge off flimsy evidence, just completely used to doing stuff without having anyone who could fight back. Incidentally, don't spoil how OJ Made in America ends.
Yes. No, but like Legal Eagle has also done like Top Gun Maverick with a military lawyer.
Yeah, I know, but I'm talking about like Devin specifically doesn't do
Right.
that much stuff anymore.
That's why I'm excited that he did Die Hard.
Devin did not do Die Hard. There are more people on Legal Eagle now than just Devin. I know face blindness is a thing and all white guys are basically the same face, but no, it's not Devin.
Look, I own up to that shit.
Don't come for me, white guys. I know my family. I've mixed up my own fucking brothers.
Ouch.
My boyfriend, who has face blindness, once got me mixed up with a friend of mine, with his explanation being that we had the same hair color. That particular friend of mine has 6 inches on me.
Maybe Roxy should have argued face blindness.
Ooh.
She didn't think it was actually Fred. She just thought another guy came in and was trying to burgle her.
She should have done the cell block tango for the jury. He had it coming.
She couldn't pull it
She has
off.
the strongest argument there, yeah. That could have been a cool reprise.
I feel like part of the reason why, and this might be a product of just the way the movie shoots it, although, side note, I do have in my notes that I really liked the time cut after the opening number, like the indication that time has passed. I think part of the reason why Roxy comes off as stupider as she does is like, she is so obviously being played by Jack is his name, I believe, or Frank.
Fred.
Okay.
Fred.
It's some fucking white guy name. That it just gets extremely difficult for me to take her intelligence seriously. I'm like, he is barely pretending he's not playing you. Come on, Roxy, get it together, girl.
Yeah. She's not the brightest bulb.
Raise your fucking standards, Roxy.
He is not the love of your life. He is literally just a guy. But honestly, no. For the first time ever, I'm going with this. Amos, she is not the love of your life. She is literally just a dumb bitch.
Yeah, hit her with your
Honestly, like, she couldn't even think of a gimmick for a vaudeville act beyond aloof.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you can get away with that if you are Gypsy Rose Lee, but Gypsy has an entire musical number about how you gotta get a gimmick for a stripper, and it's like, you have a military horn, or your lingerie lights up with electricity, or you're a ballerina on point. What the fuck is aloof? That shitty stand-up you were doing before your big number?
I did kind of enjoy it. I'm sorry.
I mean, like, that is unfortunately a fairly realistic, in my experience of being around a lot of theater kids. None of this includes any of you, in case you're wondering. But there is a variety of theater kid who is, like, a pretty good singer, a not terrible actor, a not terrible dancer, and think that makes them entitled to the lead role in every musical they look at. And, like, those people are kind of exhausting. Get some self-doubt. Get some crippling self-doubt. It's really helpful for you.
You're making all of us look bad.
Don't get crippling self-doubt. It actually fucking sucks.
Hey, Leah Michelle, this one's for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Rachel Berry wasn't a character on Glee. It was just Leah Michelle with an alias.
Yeah, and those kinds of theater kids are what make all the other theater kids look bad, really. Like, I do not support the bullying of any particular type of person, really, but unfortunately, when most people who are not theater kids think they're all like that, I understand why it happens.
And that is why theater kids become insular and spend all our time going to cast parties where we start scream singing show tunes at the top of our lungs, including the cell block tango.
At IHOP at 2 o'clock in the morning where the servers fucking hate us.
Amen.
We are very sorry to all of the servers that had to deal with our cast parties.
Well, unless you're me and went to a high school with 30 kids in the graduating class, then you don't understand that experience at all.
And then you enter the final and most horrifically destructive stage of being a theater kid or a film person. You start a podcast. I love you, Sam.
I'm in this picture and I don't like it.
Ellie, when I catch you...
Couldn't be me!
In Minecraft.
Listen, Ellie, I gave you the opportunity to play Carmilla in a podcast, so you know what?
Look, I'm not going to say anything about this, but if there's one Call of Duty stratagem I have on lock, it's drops a grenade when killed. I think that's a Call of Duty strat or something. I don't play Call of Duty. Please don't correct me, commenters.
Please don't.
Nick!
Wow, Nick, wow.
Nick, for those of you at home, audience, Nick changed his title in the Riverside Call to Theater Kid Without a Podcast, which, hurtful. I'm still probably Carmilla.
Listen, y'all, you brought that on yourself, Ellie. You did this.
I was 1000% calling myself out there.
Yes, you are. Yes,
and I just continued it.
Whee! Anyway,
I do also want to say that Chicago makes for excellent fodder at the annual miscasts and Broadway backwards. I know that Kelly O'Hara has done it. I swear Ariana DeBose has done it too, but they have both done All I Care About as Billy with an IE, let's say. And honestly, like, that would be a much more interesting show to me.
Yeah, no, Billy with an IE would be a great twist on the Chicago.
Miscast, I believe, also did a Broadway Guys in a Cell Block Tango version.
There's also a Disney Villains parody, but we don't want to talk too much about that because fucking Todrick.
I don't want to, I'm obviously, as anyone who's been on a podcast with me for more than 30 seconds knows, I'm a huge fan of gender swapping stuff, especially if you end up with all women. But I feel like the specific gender politics of Cell Block Tango mean that gender swapping it alters something.
Yeah.
I didn't say it was a good decision.
Fair. I'm just throwing that out there.
The whole gimmick of miscast and Broadway backwards is that these are the roles we'll never play, but we want to play because they're fun.
I don't want to, suggest too much, but if you're a theater kid who, like me, had your ideal roles, your, dream roles as, Beatrice from Much Ado, or Eleanor of Aquitaine from Lion in Winter, there is one thing that you can do as a boy theater kid, and I have gotten to play at least one of those, but, just ask yourself why those are your dream roles. Also, maybe watch I Saw the TV Glow, see if that awakens anything in you.
Any final thoughts before we wrap it up and say goodnight?
Roxy and Amos, when you are talking to the police, it is Shut the Fuck Up Friday.
Yes.
Don't say anything without a lawyer.
It's Shut the Fuck Up Day.
Amos, I'm sure you could find some nice lady who appreciates you. I'm sure of it, buddy.
And I'll also say, go check out Bells and Whistles, the musical number from the second season of Schmigadoon, which is Jane Krakowski does Razzle Dazzle mixed with tits and ass, and
hell yeah.
Dance 10 Looks 3, and it is so fucking fun.
Bells and whistles are all you need, plus a comprehensive knowledge of the law.
Hell yeah. R.I.P. Schmigadoon, we really miss you.
We could have had Into the Schmoods. Is the Force with it?
Hell yes.
Fuck yeah.
I'll say yeah. I didn't love it as much as y'all, but I still liked it, so yeah.
It does not have it coming.
I'm gonna say yeah, and honestly, if any movie's gonna dwell in the dark side, it is Chicago. Like we said, women's rights, women's wrongs.
Again, there's hardly any actual good people in this movie.
It's just Amos and Catalin. R.I.P. to a real one. Who has Pluggables?
So, since this episode takes place in Chicago, because it's called Chicago, gasp, I know, I have opted to promote a charity called the Chicago Foundation for Women. The Chicago Foundation for Women invests in women, girls, and gender-expansive individuals as catalysts in building strong communities for all. They have been a leader in the movement to achieve basic rights and equal opportunities for the last 40 years, and they take a comprehensive approach to understand and address the issue impacting Chicago area women and girls. The link will be in the description to donate. Also, my socials are in the description as well on the link tree.
And hey, you know what? Maybe if we do more for that, there will be less Merry Murderesses about. I am the host of In Each Retelling, the podcast where we explore all the ways old tales are made new, and yes, this movie is eligible for that. So we may be talking about it once again through my format. And additionally, you can find me at Faye Rivera on all the socials.
I'm Ellie McConaughey. You can find me on Bluesky, Medium, and Letterboxd at LSR42, on Tumblr at Football and Tuxedos, and, as I've indicated several times, I'm the host of The Biggest Night in Podcasting, where we talk about Oscar-winning films. We have an episode on another movie from this year, 8 Mile. I just had Sam, our beloved host, on an episode about Barry Lyndon, and we've actually got a 4-way crossover coming up with our other sister pod, so keep an eye out for that. I will not tell you what movie it is just yet.
4-way. And in the spirit of Star Wars, to be there for the people who need us, this episode's Mutual Fund Spotlight goes to Catherine Sharp's fundraising efforts to help families affected by ice in Minneapolis. On January 7th, 2026, Renee Good was fatally shot 3 times by an immigration and customs enforcement agent, and in the wake of her killing, ICE has continued conducting raids in Minneapolis, forcing closures of public spaces like churches and schools, and terrorizing the Spanish-speaking families who live there. Catherine's fundraiser aims to help these affected families by paying for rent, food, and legal support. The link can be found in the description, as well as on my various socials at Demisem. Our theme music is provided by Refractory Period, the 2 girls, 1 beat synth-pop sensation. You can follow them on Instagram at Refractory Period, the band. To further support this podcast, please subscribe to us on your platform of choice, leave reviews, and share with your friends to boost our visibility, and consider joining our Patreon. And now, it's time to turn to the Chance Cube to decide where our journey takes us next.
3.
That's a 3.
It's a 3. Which means that our next episode is going to be A Knight's Tale.
Ooh!
Exciting.
That's another one that's eligible for mine, and I've not seen yet.
And it will, in fact, rock you.
We'll see you all next time. Until then, stay safe, stay strong, stay beautiful, and all that jazz, and may the Force be with you.